Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So look, the question is, who's putting duck sauce on the fried rice? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I want to make sure I make this crystal clear because, fix the damn hat. A lot of people seem to only hear what they want to hear when you're doing these videos, you know what I'm saying? Gervonta Davis can do what he wants. Whatever he's doing, it's working because the man's making money hand over fist. And Gervonta Davis is an amazing fighter. I personally think Gervonta Davis beats Teofimo. I think he beats Devin Haney. I think he beats Shakur Stevenson. He already beat Rolly. He already beat Ryan, okay? I think Gervonta Davis clips those 5 names I listed. He clips the other 3. Already clipped 2. I think Gervonta Davis has the power and skill set to go up to 140 and possibly clip the other elite at 140. I truly believe that. But that being said, when you see guys like Gervonta Davis, for some reason, choosing not to get in the ring with a Devin Haney, choosing not to get in the ring with Shakur Stevenson, it does make you start to think that maybe there's a little duck sauce on the fried rice, because I understand Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather and Leonard Ellaby, and taking fights that may not be as risky. That way you still make a lot of money. You take very little to no damage, right? And he could go on with this blueprint that Mayweather's handed down to him. He could go on and become a billionaire doing this. But the thing that made me put this video together is when you have Turki Al-Sheikh in Saudi Arabia saying, right, I want to make Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney, hopefully in 2024. And for Gervonta Davis to come out now and say, I'm mad, give me 2 Ferraris, you gotta, like basically saying, you gotta make it worth my time. If he's all about money, this is all I'm getting at, right? Because, look, I'm retired, man. I could have retired at age 39 and never worked another day in my life, okay? I retired at age 43. 43, I retired. And I've been on cruise control since. But what I'm saying is, if Gervonta Davis is all about the money, right? Why wouldn't he entertain going to Saudi Arabia and fighting Devin Haney? If Gervonta Davis really knocked Devin Haney out during their sparring session, if Gervonta Davis really had his way with Devin Haney, and Devin Haney really didn't give Gervonta Davis a reason to second guess going into a no-kidding fight with him, why isn't Gervonta Davis all over this opportunity to go to Saudi? And for that reason, I suspect it could have something to do with him, his probation and stuff like that. I don't know all the specifics around that, but it could have something to do with that. But at the end of the day, when you come out and what seems to me intentionally burn a bridge. Now, again, this is just me, my observation. I'm not saying I'm right. Seems to me that he's intentionally burning a bridge with the Saudis. It makes me feel that someone putting duck sauce on the fried rice. Because, my man, you have an opportunity. They're not saying you got to fight Devin Haney tomorrow, but at least sound somewhat enthused about going out there. You know they're going to pay you, since you're all about money, right? And Floyd Mayweather is all about you working smart, not hard, right? Go out there I think personally he'll beat Devin Haney. But look, I'm not downplaying Devin Haney. Devin Haney can fight. I just think Tank beats him. Go out there, fight Devin Haney, make more money than you've made. Probably the amount of money he'll get paid out there probably twice as much as his highest purse yet, right? And you know they're going to want him to fight out there a couple times. Go out there and get that money. But he's not doing that. So it is what it is. Then you look at Canelo Alvarez. Now, where Canelo is financially, Gervonta's heading that direction. Now, Canelo Alvarez, and this is the thing that gets me, right? When I hear these fighters say, I've earned the right to fight who I want to fight and fight when I want to fight. There's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. But sometimes, and this is my opinion, I feel that Canelo Alvarez hides behind that. Now, I want to make this crystal clear. Canelo Alvarez is a bull. Canelo Alvarez out here, man, up and down weight divisions, across weight divisions, just beating everybody. Matter of fact, I like to pull up these fighters' resumes and look at, like the last, 10, 15 fights. With Canelo, you can go back. Matter of fact, you can go all the way back with Canelo when he fought like Jose Miguel Cotto. You can start from there and just start looking at the names on his resume, and you see that Canelo got busy. But so I want to make sure that anyone watching this video, no one's trying to take anything away from Canelo Alvarez. But at the same time, you can't stay on the top forever, right? And I truly believe, because of the position that, he worked hard to attain, he earned everything that he has, right? He went in there, he fought the fights. There's a couple of those fights, look, I personally think he lost the first and second Triple G fight. The third, hey, come on now. We know he won that fight, but Triple G wasn't the same monster he was in that first fight. And the second fight, I feel Triple G won. And there's a lot of people who agree, but there's some who disagree. But nonetheless, whether you think Canelo got some gift decisions, he went in there and the secret society paid fighters to take a dive, you can think what you want. And maybe that happened for a couple fights, but not all the goddamn fights, right? You got to give Canelo credit. Canelo is a bad boy who lives in the gym and has evolved his style. But I do believe he's hiding behind that position that he created for himself, which is being the face of boxing and being a shot caller. And he's hiding behind that. Because why wouldn't he go out here, like I talked about earlier? Because Canelo wants to be a billionaire, right? At least let there be some, let the fans know something. Why wouldn't he have fought David Benavidez by now? So my thing is, I understand there's a possibility that he's looking to finish his third fight with PBC, and that could be the David Benavidez fight. The problem with that is there are a myriad of fighters from 154 to 168 over there at PBC that they could throw at Canelo. And when you got the WBC who's saying, hey, right, initially they're talking about, Canelo's got to fight Benavidez by May. Now all that seemed to have been set aside. So when you got the sanctioning bodies not being consistent with what they're saying, what their rules say, that makes me feel hopeless as far as ever seeing Canelo get in the ring with Benavidez. And I'm going to even say Morrell. Because when you look across the 168-pound division and you look at the champions, okay, Canelo's undisputed, but then you got Morrell buzzing around there with the WBA. Then you got Benavidez buzzing around with the WBC. A smaller version of the titles. So you would think in a normal world that Canelo would be fighting Benavidez, and if he beats him, fight Morrell, or fight Morrell, then Benavidez, but that's just not what's happening, because we know in boxing there's a lot of politics. So fans are looking at Gervonta Davis like, man, you should be fighting Devin Haney, or you should be fighting Shakir, but you're sitting here running around just seem to be shooting down the idea of fighting any of these guys that the fans want to see. You're still picking and choosing who you want because you can, and we get it. You kind of in a kind of groove where you are just very fortunate to where you have a lot of flexibility, Gervonta, and I think you should stack up as much money as possible. But at some point in time, you got to give the fans something. You got to give the fans something, and in addition to that, whoever you fight, no rehydration clauses. And that's one of the things that I find consistent between Gervonta and between Canelo. There seems to be something with rehydration clauses and people coming up in weight and something about the weight. The weight. You know, it makes me, don't get me wrong, for those who say, well, with Bivol, no, I didn't say Bivol had a rehydration clause, McNicholas. What I'm saying is there are several different spreadsheets that have been put together with Canelo Alvarez showing over I think 10 or 15 of his fights against big name opponents where Canelo got big wins, where it shows that there was, a guy who was either coming up or someone who had a rehydration clause in the contract. And when people taking fights on last minute, some of that stuff was accurate. The other stuff I don't know how accurate it was, but anyway, when you look at that spreadsheet, it's like, damn, it's a bit of an eye opener. So for me, I can understand how a person doesn't want to give Canelo all the credit that he truly deserves. When you just look at him getting the win over some of the names, it's like, man, it's outstanding. But when you peel the layers back and understand, hold on a second now, he took it to the stupid with all these different clauses and shit in the contract. There was someone talking to me the other day about how Canelo, he shouldn't have a problem with Benavidez because Canelo beat Chavez Jr. And Chavez Jr. is about the same height and same size. I'm like, yo, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. He killed Chavez Jr. Forced that man to get down to a weight he had no business. The man hadn't eaten in, I think like shaved chips of ice or something he said for like days. Chavez Jr. probably should have died making that damn weight cut. It's horrible. So I just don't think when someone wants to talk about Canelo and his accomplishments, Chavez Jr. isn't a name they should bring up, okay? Because that's one thing that we know as a fact is he was weight drained. But then it goes back because Canelo learned that from Floyd Mayweather and what Floyd did to Canelo when you're the A side. You force guys to cut down to a weight and get somewhere where they're not the most comfortable. But that being said, so when you look at Gervonta and the fact that a lot of fans want to see him, especially right now with Devin Haney, what Devin Haney was able to do against Regis Prograis, and you look at Canelo Alvarez and how a lot of fans want to see him fight David Benavidez, especially the way David Benavidez, handled Jamel, handled Caleb Plant, you know what I'm saying? And the list goes on and on. Canelo Alvarez is the truth. But what is the holdup? And I think that's what's creating a lot of frustration. So it's like, who they're both putting duck sauce on the fried rice, but who's putting the most on it? And that's the question. Or do you think they're both justified to go about their careers the way they're going about their careers? When I first started this video, I said they can do what they want. They both can do what they want. Canelo said he wants to become a billionaire. He's doing what he needs to do to get there. If Canelo starts losing, let me ask you a question, right? Anthony Joshua, he can lose and lose and lose. You think fans in the UK will still come out and see him? You better believe they're going to come out and see Anthony Joshua. It doesn't matter who he fights, they're going to come out and see him. If Canelo starts losing and losing, you think his pay-per-view numbers are going to continue to be handsome? Going to continue to be attractive? I don't know about that. Because it's the cultures are different. The mentalities are different. Out there in the UK, man, they're fanatics. They're ridiculous. When you look at when Ricky Hatton fought Paulie Malignaggi, like 25,000 British fans came over to watch that fight. and then like 5,000 were able to go and watch the fight. The other 20, my understanding was majority of them couldn't even get tickets to the fight. They just wanted to be in the vicinity to where Ricky Hatton was, just to support him. So when you're dealing with people like that, fans like that, you know, their fighters are always going to get supported. Now, Gervonta Davis, you know, I really don't know what to think about Gervonta and his fans, and if he was to lose. I would almost think that a lot of people just turned their back on him. The same way people say, well, you know what, Gervonta Davis, the reason he's having the success he's having, because basically Floyd Mayweather was there with him, and he just kind of introduced Gervonta to the world, to his fan base, and Gervonta was able to absorb a lot of Floyd Mayweather's fan base, kind of like what you see happening right now with, what's that kid's name, Carmel or whatever? Kind of like what's happening right now. So their platform, when they get introduced to boxing, is already huge, because there's a large percentage of Floyd Mayweather's fans who just, you know, get behind him. But that being said, if Gervonta Davis was to start losing, you know, I'm not so sure he'll still get the support that he's used to getting. And that could be why you see both of these guys being very careful with going into what I would say a riskier fight than what they're used to dealing with. Okay? So if you ask me, so what do you think, Hood? I'm going to tell you right now. I think these guys can do what they want. I do think there's someone putting some duck sauce on the fried rice, not out of fear. I think they're looking at their careers, and they have certain goals, they have certain objectives, and they're going to continue to do what they feel is best for them. Now, what I will say is this. Canelo Alvarez is already undisputed. Canelo Alvarez has bubbled up multiple weight divisions, but he's already undisputed. Okay? Gervonta Davis, this man's been making noise for quite some time. All right? 130, 135, 140. All right? Gervonta Davis has bubbled up a couple weight divisions already. All right? Picked up some titles. But he's not undisputed. But let's not act like Gervonta's just been floating around at 130 and just refuses to move up and challenge himself. He has challenged himself. So he deserves credit for that. But at the end of the day, this is boxing. And boxing, if you're a boxer, you have boxing fans. And boxing fans want to have their desires fulfilled in seeing some of their favorite fighters in the biggest fights. Now, I'm going to see how this plays out, because Gervonta already sounds like he doesn't want to go to Saudi. But for Canelo Alvarez, because he should get through Jamal Charlo. Like that fight in May, he should get through him. I don't think it's going to be that easy, but he should get through him. Just because he's been so active and he's so disciplined, and Jamal has all these other things going on. But it's not an easy fight. People thinking Canelo's just going to walk through him. I don't think he walks through him, but I think he wins. But after that is a third fight. And I want to see if Al Heyman is going to be okay with making Canelo and Benavidez working with the Saudis to have that fight in Saudi Arabia. It's for, basically, it's like a changing of the throne. The undisputed fighter fighting the young lion. And if Benavidez can clip Canelo, he becomes undisputed. Then they have the rematch in Saudi. And Turkey Al Sheikh is going to be all over that. That's why I say, I personally think Canelo Alvarez, I think if you look at the Canelo Alvarez and average maybe his last three purses, the Saudis look at that, and if Canelo's making, let's say average about $60 million a fight purse, I wouldn't be surprised, since it's for undisputed, they know what he's up against, coming over to Saudi. I wouldn't be surprised, and I meant that, if they bubble up and pay this man close to $200 million. Listen, the Saudis, whatever they want, they want. And if Tyson Fury, right, can get 60-something million for one fight, why can't Canelo Alvarez, who's going in, who's undisputed, putting all that on the line against a killer like David Benavidez? The Saudis want that fight. Why wouldn't they put up that kind of money? People sitting on damn near $1 trillion just in a fund, and where they use that money just to help improve how the international community sees Saudi Arabia. And the ultimate goal is to have the whole international community see Saudi as a destination. And if they feel Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez is a fight that can do that, well, I mean, the $200 million to me may not be far-fetched. Will he get that much? Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to tell you the truth. Canelo Alvarez he's an anomaly, man. And a guy like him, it just don't come around that often. You know what I'm saying? It just don't come around that often. But that being said, as far as who's putting the most duck sauce on the fried rice, a lot of people are seeing, like, there are people getting frustrated with both Gervonta and Canelo. I'm looking at comments. Now, the Canelo fans, like, they're ridiculous. They don't hear shit. If it ain't something positive about Canelo, they don't hear nothing, boy. They want to sit here and come out here and start that guala shit. Nobody want to hear that, man. All these people who complain about fighters, don't start gualaing on this page. Get out of here. You got an issue about Gervonta Davis and what someone says, don't start your guala. Get out of here. Gervonta Davis and Canelo are amazing athletes. That's why Canelo's the face of boxing, and some people say right behind him is Gervonta Davis. But the bottom line is the fights that people want to see, doesn't seem to be any plans for it happening anytime soon. But when it does happen, I think people are going to be relieved and going to be excited. But I do believe it's going to take some serious money to get Canelo to be like, all right, I'll fight David Benavidez. And for Gervonta Davis, I think it's going to take some serious money to get him to go out here and entertain fighting someone like Devin Haney at 140, or to get Gervonta kind of out of his comfort zone. And the thing about it is, you know who has the money to do it? Turkey Al-Sheikh. And I think it will happen. I do think we'll see some bigger fights this year for both of these guys. But as of right now, you know, it's just, they're both putting duck sauce on the fried rice. It's just a matter of who's putting the most on there. And I'll let y'all answer that in the comments. In the breeze.